Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys quarter scale figure unboxing and review video. That's right, today we're taking a look at none other than the deluxe special edition version of the quarter scale Spider-Man tech suit from Spider-Man Homecoming. I personally am really excited. I remember laying eyes on this thing for the first time at the various conventions, and I fell in love. I never knew I wanted a quarter scale Spidey until Hot Toys said, well, here it is, what do you think? And yeah, I was really darn impressed. I cannot wait to get this guy out of the box. Now, I picked up mine from ToysWonderland.com. The link for that is, of course, down in the description below, and they do have 12-month installment plans if you're a fan of paying off your figures over time. What we are going to do now, though, is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. And here, of course, we have the box art for Spidey. Just like all of the other quarter-scale figures, we have a big honkin' image of Spidey's face right up here in the front of the box, and a quarter-scale logo, both of which are actually separate raised items. I did see some people complaining online that they cheaped out on the packaging by not doing a 3D raised element. I don't know what gave them that impression, because they definitely did it here. You can also see that in the lenses there is this real textured image, so you can feel the lenses themselves. It's not just a print, although it is glossy and it looks fantastic against the matte hex pattern of the rest of the box. I really like this box artwork, as simple as it is. Now, this box is surprisingly quite thick, and that's to accommodate the big honkin' vulture wing display base. Now, we do have the relevant legal information on the back. Let's get this guy out here. I have been super excited ever since Hot Toys announced they were doing a quarter-scale Spidey. I don't exactly know why they chose to do the Homecoming version though, because this suit has been switched out for the upgraded suit in the MCU. If they were going to do one suit, in my opinion, the upgraded suit would have been the way to go. But nevertheless, I'm not complaining. I'm still really excited to have this guy in hand. And here we have him. I often forget how big quarter-scale figures are, but yeah, this guy is a big boy. Now, as you can see, he does come with one tray here up on top. That is, of course, foam. Another one down below. There are actually two more underneath that. So what we are going to do now is get all of Spider-Man's accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look and everything he comes with. And here we have everything that comes with the deluxe special edition version of Homecoming Spidey. Now, I did make that designation because some of this stuff won't come with the regular version. Now, most of the added pieces are for the display base because, as you can see, there are various different configurations. This might just be one of the biggest Hot Toys instruction manuals that I personally have ever seen. I'm just going to show you the regular display base in this clip, and then in an upcoming clip later in the video, we'll see the various different options for how you can use the components on the display base. And here is that base. Number one, it's a very heavy and sturdy item. This, I believe, was sculpted by Studio Hive, and they did an amazing job. It looks outstanding. You can see it's got various thrusters and other bits and pieces, which do have these light effects on the base itself. However, it does actually have a proper working light-up effect. As you can see, when I hit the switch, we do have the Vulture's eyes, these stairs are lit up, and the various little thruster/energy gem sections light up as well. Now, the cool thing with this is Hot Toys includes an AC to USB cable. So yes, if you do want to have it powered on all the time, you can simply just plug it in the back there and have it fully powered. I really like that option. But if you don't want to, you can also use AAA batteries. It actually has a second power mode. When you hit it, they sort of flash on and off. It's a little bit weird, and I personally don't think I'll be going with that, but you do have two different options for the light effect on the base there. Now, let's talk about the size and shape of the base itself. If you're just getting a standard one, it's a little bit hard to work with because, of course, this is the crotch grabber. Where is Spidey supposed to stand? Certainly not up here. I mean, you could, but then you wouldn't really be able to use this stand because it would be in front of him. I guess they want you to put him down here. Then you've got a bunch of wasted space on the base itself. I think when this base gets combined with all of the other various pieces, then it really starts to make sense. Now we may as well talk about those other various pieces, because just look at it. This is a section of the Vulture's wing in quarter scale. It is huge, and it is absolutely stunning. Look at the sculpted detail and also all of the gorgeous paint applications. Plus, you do have a moving thruster section, which I didn't really expect them to do. This could have just been a fixed, solid hunk of plastic, but no, it does have proper moving sections. You will see this fully combined with the display base, as I said, in an upcoming clip. Now you do get this panel piece with the deluxe version. This basically can be used in multiple different ways. You can see all of these different ports. You can use this as a base topper or as a piece to go in the background. It also has this Vulture style motif with a bunch of scratching and pitting, and it looks stunning as well. Now, the only other pieces that we have for the display base, don't worry, we'll get to the good stuff in just a second, are these added little strut sections. They will plug on and you'll see how that looks in just a second. Next up, we may as well take a look at the Spidey mask, because this thing looks stunning. You will of course see this on the figure, don't worry about that, but the material texture is awesome. It looks very accurate to the film, and the eyes do have the swap out gimmick. To activate it, you simply push the corner and then they do pop out. They are magnetically attached, but for some reason the magnets aren't the strongest in the world. You can also see that the lenses are double layered. There's a white hex pattern on the inside, then a glossy section over the top. They look stunning. Now, to go along with the mask, we do get various different eye options. We've got the big wide open ones, all the way down to the instant kill ones. I probably will be going with just these ones, just the basic Spidey ones. Those ones, I think, are my favorite for now. Let's talk about the Spidey Tom Holland head sculpt, because this has had a lot of debate in the community over the recent days. I have to say, in person, seeing this, I think it looks fantastic. I can see Tom Holland's likeness through and through. The paint applications, being a quarter scale piece, are second to none. The skin texture looks great, the hair looks awesome. And when we put this on the body, you'll see what I mean. This thing just comes to life. It looks fantastic. The only real complaint I do have is, for some reason on mine, there's just a little teeny tiny brown freckle there. I don't know if that's accurate to Tom Holland. None of my other 1/6 scale head sculpts have that. It's just a little bit weird that they decided to do that. I do think it may be a paint error. Next up, he does of course come with a backpack. The cool thing about a quarter scale backpack with real working zips and compartments is you can use it to store some of Spidey's accessories. That is just genius. It does come with some padding out of the box just to give it a little bit more form, and of course you can have Spidey wearing it. It wouldn't be a Spider-Man figure without some webs. These are pretty much the 1/6 scale webs, upscaled to quarter scale, except they've also included this section, which is basically a joiner. You can attach it to the ends of 2 webs and create an extra long one. I really like that. It's something they didn't need to do, and we've never seen before, but I'm really impressed with it. So too am I with the funnel web. This is really nicely sculpted. It's a little bit more dynamic with these sort of spooled up sections, unlike the 1/6 scale versions, which don't usually have that. There's also a silver paint application over various sections of it. Now let's talk about some of the smaller pieces, starting with the Spidey drone. You might be thinking, Justin, what on earth is that thing up the front? Well, this is the chest logo that you can interchange on Spidey when the drone has been deployed. And then, when you are not using it, Hot Toys have had the foresight to include this little clip on the display base that you can peg it in there. So when you take off the just standard one from Spidey, pop it on the base, and then pop this one on the suit. The little drone looks awesome. His legs are a little bit thick. Of course, it's a small teeny tiny version. If they were accurately thin, they would 100% be breaking. You do have a metal pole coming down to the clear display base. It's a really neat little piece, and I'm glad they threw it in here. Now, if you get the special edition version of the Deluxe, you do get these added accessories, being of course this sort of projection of kind of like a home screen for Spidey with the various different commands, and you also do get this, which is the projected map. You can't really see it as clearly on camera and in person because of this sort of lenticular effect. It's a little bit hard to make out, but there is definitely a teeny tiny multicolored little cityscape inside that dome there. It's a neat little accessory, and I'm glad that I got it, although I don't think I personally will be using it. You do also get a phone with Ned calling, and you can see it's actually a multi-layered thing. The print for the screen is underneath a glass, or in this instance, plastic section, so it looks like a real phone screen. There is no detail on the rest of it, it's literally just a black hunk of plastic, but I'm glad that they have given it a little bit of dimension with that screen itself. And if you did want to make it accurate to the various films, you could go ahead and crack it, because of course, as Spidey progresses throughout his career, his phone gets more and more damaged. You also do get a removed mask. Before you ask, no, you cannot pop it on that head sculpt. This is just meant to be held in his hand. It's made of the same material as the suit, so you can see how flexible and stretchy the suit material really is. No, those eyes cannot be detached. The final things that I want to talk about are the web wings and then the hands. These are actually made out of a really weird feeling material. It's more of a rubber style piece with the various magnetic sections. Unlike the 1/6 scale ones, which some people compared to tortilla chips. These are nice and soft, and they feel like what you'd expect a web wing to feel like. The detail is great on there, but they are just flat, rubbery pieces. You will see these on Spidey later on in the video. Lastly, he does of course come with a bunch of hands. They are really nicely sculpted, and the web patterns are actually indented into the suit itself. Plus, the web shooter activator is on all of the palms. What we are going to do now though is get Spidey himself out here and take a closer look. And here we have him standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And yeah, so far I am in love with the way this guy looks. What is so special about this Spidey, Justin, I hear you asking? Well, keen-eyed viewer, there are a couple of things which Hot Toys nailed, and we'll be discussing it at length in the very next clip. But right off the bat, the suit looks stunning. It looks super accurate, the material choices are on point. What that means for articulation though, we'll find out later on in the video. The body choice looks awesome as well. He looks super realistic. And finally, they've worked wonders on the Spidey head sculpt. It looks spot on. For some reason, some of the other 1/6 scale ones looked a little bit goofy, but not this guy. He looks awesome. Simply just standing there in the light box, this looks like a real person, and I'm super impressed with that. Let me know though what you think of this Spidey so far down in the comments below. And here we have him up close and personal. Now I know it's still early on in the review, but I'm going to call it already. This is my favorite Spidey figure in pretty much any scale, for some key reasons. First of all, take a look at the body. That looks like a real person. The proportions are so dialed in that it's tricking the eye. To me, he looks like an actual living person in a suit. That's how realistic this figure looks. Let's talk about why that's the case. First of all, take a look at all of the musculature underneath the suit itself. You can actually see the collarbone, the traps, the abs. It really does a convincing job of looking like an actual person. Even subtle things like the slight bump to the ear sections to make it look like an actual